take over. Hey, Andy and Steve, what's going on?
Hey, thank you, Scott. Hello, Andy. Happy Tuesday.
Hey, Steve. Hi, Scott. Everybody. Hello.
All right. Hello, Mike C. and Chris Varley. How's it going? File into the room. We are, can you go over the 20 price alerts? Can you gang up 20? I'm going to have you answer that one, Andy. I'm confused because I've got to get to the disclaimer of the week for the trade of the week, the same old disclaimer that we do always. Just reminding you that we're employees of a software as a subscription service here at Trade Ideas, and we're not registered investment advisors. So anything we talk about today in terms of stock setups and things like that, it's not to be construed as financial advice. It's just the opinions of our staff here. So let's get started. With that said, Andy and I have been using Trade Ideas for 17 years, and we've seen a lot of changes come and go over the years. And with that said, earned in just a few days. And so we really recommend people take at least a month to try and get familiar with the power of the program. And some of the ways we try to help do that are, of course, these webinars, the live trading room with Barry every day. If the market is open, chances are Barry's room is going to be open, and there's a few hundred people in there doing a great job. Creating a environment that people do pay for in other environments, other rooms, but Barry's room is free. It's a great entree onboard to kind of the features of Trade Ideas, and Barry's very generous with his time. Always reminds us to send people in there so he can demonstrate visually for people, because talking on the phone about what Trade Ideas does is just doesn't cut it. We need to see and demonstrate. Then we have the afternoon daily 12 p.m. Eastern. It's basically a live YouTube link that is a live stream. We take over for Barry and give him a break, and one of the five of us will pop in there and share our screen and do some stuff for a full hour on the 12 noon hour Eastern every day. And let me show you the next slide. Shows you, I believe, there you go. trade-ideas.com/live is a redirect. If you just type that in the URL and hit enter, it'll take you directly to the live YouTube live stream. And it's super simple. You got a question, you just type it in the chat window and we see it and we interact with you guys. I was doing it today. I think Michael's doing it tomorrow. Jamie's doing it Thursday, and possibly Andy on Friday. So a lot of support, a lot of ways to come and connect and pull up a chair and try and get support help for this very rich product. So the theme for the week, as usual, as we enter the brave new world, we're going to be working side by side with robots and algorithms, and it's our job to curate that information that the robots and the algorithms give to us. And financial industry and Trade Ideas is a perfect example of how going forward, if you're just going to rely on the algorithms, you're not going to do as well. It's a man and machine, a human and machine world going forward. The machine will give us the curated data, and the trader, in this case, the trader, he or she will take that data and use it in their methods to streamline and keep out all the noise. And so I always thought that's just a great fitting slide to start with. We'll go about 45 minutes today on some content, some things to talk about. The market recap, it's been an interesting one. Another decent day in the AI. If you're not into creating your own scans, the AI comes up with some really nice real-time suggestions, and Andy will go over some of those. The namesake for this webinar, Trade of the Week, this week, it was not a chicken out by any means. We've done this 4 or 5 times over the last 4 years. When charts break and volatility creeps in a big way, and we have a lot of volatility, sometimes it's best to just go to cash. And so that was the reason for doing that, but we'll elaborate on that when we get to it. I want to remind you guys that there's a feature in Trade Ideas called the flip, and one day you're going to want to know how to use it. Maybe now is not the day as I get into the market recap, but at some point, you're going to want to know about this feature. So we'll take a look at that feature. I'll give you some visual demonstrations on what it's doing and why it can be useful. And then another possible back test on something that I found interesting. And we'll go over sectors, and that should pretty much take up most of our time. So we'll get started. Like Scott said, if you have any questions, you can pop. Otherwise, I'll do my best to demonstrate it. rather than 20 charts, whatever it's called, I ganged up onto the one to save real estate. It must be just a comment. I'm not really sure about that. All right, so if you were with me in Jamie's webinar, yeah, however, I did mention, I remember, Andy, you were with me, we called it last Thursday, my eye. Okay, I remember talking about you guys, no, probably was about it, coming up under to be an issue. We'll get through it. We got through it, settled on it, moving at the candles here, and it really seems to have showed tested the 200 on this day. Well, after our big break, sorry, down a big red K. Fast forward to today, we've got our it's going to have its hiccups. This much of the 10-day moving average, something we couldn't. All of this crazy, but I think we don't need to go over the specifics of what we're all watching out there in the world. It's upside down right now, and you'd think the market would follow suit, but it's not. And we can't argue with that said. We had a rough couple of there, but again, just and I don't want to go down in the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 benchmark. I'll point out, Andy, on the market.
No. Averages again. So, you know, it was all in the.
But it got a massive gap, and that start talking about that kind of stuff. You can.
Not a whole lot to talk about today. Once again, here's the SPYs. All right, looking at the intraday of the SPYs. I always like to be coming up in about a month out for her. I take out of the prior days and most strategy out there, or segment, I should call it. There were 4 trades today, and actually there were 2 of them were the same, and that's one was a breakout long, and then she tried the same. Doesn't surprise me with the big huge gap trade here. Let's take a look at it, and then like most of the other stocks, it kind of opportunity there. If you were able to snag it pretty quick at 4 and conservative lost money, it closed actually near lows. Same thing can be said about through the 15-minute opening candle high, and looking at it was 1344. So about to talk about this much for the trades window, what I was kind of going over. This will appear in real that made the cut for the day and came in trade from Holly AI, 2 trades from Holly 2.0. It looks like they were just small losses there, so I'm not going to Holly, if you stayed in conservative mode.
It's hard. So somebody had said, well, you can go to day trading today. So good to hear. Thank you for the feedback, Glenn. Poker candle at the same time, that's usually a good sign, whether it's a trade or a position on a swing or a day trade, it doesn't matter, it's all the same. SMHs got decimated after being a great call breaking out of here. That's why you see PayPal in the noon session as a prior trade of the week as well. Pop back up. Ideally, they pop. So that's what that scan shot on the open. That's a big long candle. But looking okay again. This market's continue on its way. I'm not saying we're in one, but what I want to do is just kind of with a market that only works. That's a goofy one. That's a goofy one too. Boy, we're in our source windows. Okay. Now I've got some stuff that does show its head again. These are to take a look. What was this one? Let's see if this was a good buy. The dip scan flip button, and kind of interesting. Well, pierced into the 10 dot. What if we duplicate this? We're looking for things that washed out, a lot of selling on the open, and then ACGL, a nice topic. This scan is going to, it looks like we're doing good on questions, wash out bounce. I like to keep an eye on a 2 or 3 day hold, but I used to go to this scan a lot. And I'm going to open this up from my Pacific Coast, try and get a feel for what's been happening, and we're looking to hold day of a gap up. You should take it, or at least half of it. Win rate that has an average winner of $4.21 and an average loser of $1. Almost a 4-to-1. Like, look at that equity curve. This thing's been kicking butt lately. Very interesting. I wasn't aware of that. Well, I was until I scanned it before the webinar. I knew I was going to show you guys this, but it's really working well. And what I want to do is maybe see if we can make it work even a little better. But again, 30% win rate, most people would laugh at you. But if you're managing your winners and cutting your losers, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the winner and loser average. Okay, so we're going to do this thing called optimization here. We're going to first look at the price level. Wow, that was kind of crazy. Look how slow this is. We'll do $20 price increments. Actually, I'm gonna do 25 because I saw something. Yeah. Notice that $0 to $25, we've got a lot of trades in here, a ton of trades. It's giving me a negative return, a very bad return. Well, let's just go ahead and take care of this right now. We're going to right click what is that right there? $25 level, and we're going to make that our minimum value. We're going to decrease everything. This scan is no longer going to find things under $25 because it just doesn't look like it likes it. All right, so there's an optimization right there. What about the time of day? What's the best time of day? Well, right off the bat, something is jumping out at me. With 30-minute intervals, it seems like the first hour is a complete throwaway for this scan. So we're going to run it again, and we're going to start it at 7:30 my time, and we're going to leave out all of this mess right there. So let's try this. Now, since I made a change to the configuration, I'm going to run it again from the menu. We need to adjust this to 7:30 my time, which is 10:30 East Coast. And it looks like it's good for the rest of the day. So we made 2 changes. Let's see if we can compare apples and apples and get even a better scan than what we started with. And maybe we'll get the scan to run faster than the last one. So again, we'll see the numbers in a second. The only change I made was I ran it an hour later, which saves us a lot of trades that weren't working. And we got rid of the 25 and under. Those 2 changes alone should give us a little bit of an improvement. And then I promise I'll share it with you guys because, you know, we don't want to just sit here and tease it. Ew. What happened?
What the heck?
Did I hit sell?
Did I hit sell? I don't know.
Oh, look. I did the wrong scan.
Oh, you did. You might.
Yeah, I did the wrong thing. Jeez. Try that again, Steve. I went and grabbed the wrong scan. All right, that's all we need to do is run this one again. All right, so we're all caught up on questions.
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. This one's running fast. Okay, we're up to a 48% win percentage, but we've improved even better. Our average winner is now, and here's the biggest improvement right here. Is what you want to see. We had 500 trades at one point. We've cut those in half to 250. The average winner was 421. The average winner is now 570. Not as strong. So it's a good 3-day. It's a good 3-day scan. So with that said, everybody, and share to cloud this scan, which you all just saw back test really nicely for a 3-day hold. I'm going to pop it into the chat window here. I'm going to call it washout bounce. And I'll remind people it's a, all right, there it comes to your chat windows. Very good.
And Steve, will you show them where the trader's vault is?
Yeah.
Somebody's asking where do you find these good scans? Yeah.
Go ahead and do it. So let's just scroll down on our toolbar, which by the way is new channel bar to get you here. And then we just look for that key, the Trader's Vault. It's a new graphic we just popped in there. We updated a lot of these. It's basically like a palette of ideas that you can come and take for yourself. Now, the one that we were just back testing, that's on here, right, Andy? Isn't it? Washout bounce? Is washout bounce on here? Maybe it's not.
Yes. What?
Might not be.
You might not be. Well, you just shared it. I think. Well,
I shared it.
Another one.
So regardless of, that one's not in this mix anymore. Maybe it's been like the forgotten child.
Yeah, I think you wanted to take it out, put your jam down.
I did. I replaced it with the jam. Good. They're both good. Obviously, come here and grab that one. This is Andy's, and hopefully to reverse. So the question was, how can you get these? The one that I just dropped into the chat window, you'll have to grab here. I'm just going to say that. Right click. And there'd be a copy of the gem down by, which didn't do much today. You can use it for day trading in real time because we've got some real time alerts. It just depends on what you're looking for. The product is very, very powerful. It just depends on how you want to utilize it. If you're looking for day trading and buying breakouts of momentum, well, then you're looking for scans that are making new highs on good volume and things like that. If you're looking to be more of a contrarian like I am, you're looking for entries like these and where that blue arrow is, you know. The bigger picture looks great on the daily chart, but the little interesting hiccup right here, moment of time that I've identified that I like. To be alert is really what you make it. The system can do just about anything within reason. All right. What's the best performing strategy for holds over a few hours for the day? I don't have anything that I can point you to at the moment. It's the back testing tool is there for everybody, you know, to look at and see if you want to back test for a 3-hour hold. There's a tab where you can do that for sure.
Yeah, day trading. I mean, it's easier to backtest swing trading than it is. I think Steve can vouch for this as well than it is for day trading. You have a lot of high frequency trading or algos in the day trading. Not does in day trading, but a lot of that is just eyeball and gut feeling. You know, it's hard to get a back test. If I would probably say, Steve, the one Steve wrote for the AI called Quarterback. And what it's looking for is, you know, strong stocks that are pulling back 25% from highs. You can easily build something like that just using. We have a 25% percent from highs alert, so you can build you a scan that I don't know if Steve maybe have one. Yeah, maybe share that. Yep, he's showing.
And somebody's asking if I have a good strategy for a holdover for a few days. We just did the back test that showed the one that I loaded in the chat window. Washout bounce is a good hold for 3 days. So that's in the chat window. The quarterback here is using an event called the 25% pullback. So if the stock is pulled back 25% from highs, and if the stock is up 1% from the close, it's doing high good relative volume. As long as it meets those criteria, not much to ask in terms of filters, pretty basic, just stuff that's going to new highs, but we're being alerted when there's a 25% pullback. You know, so that can be an interesting day trading alert. And I'll go ahead and drop this. And you guys can, you know, back test these on your own time for sure and play around with them, see if they fit your criteria. All right, so this was called quarterback. About the chat window. Okay, back limit, yeah, back testing is unlimited secret. If you're on standard and you get, if you do like it, yeah, the unlimited back testing is available in the premium version as well as the AI. Does the AI figure out about 40 strategies that it back tests every night, and the ones that make it into the strategy window are the ones that you see for the day. So most of the strategies don't make it every day, but the ones that have a hot hand will do so. The AI can be used for swing trading or for day trading. Ideally, you find a great day trade, a trade that looks decent, but if the daily chart looks good, then, you know, here's a nice breakout here on the one today. If somebody sold half of this and kept the other half, if this thing can get above that orange line tomorrow, FOLD, well, there's a swing trade. It's really subjective, and it's on a symbol by symbol basis as to how people want to play these things. To create a new icon in the channel bar, you just, you know, you first need to save your layout the way you would do it in cloud, entire layout, and share that by copying that channel bar and channel by simply dropping that cloud in there and giving it an image. But I've already done that, so that would be the steps to do that. We have a video on it if you need more help for sure. All right, a lot of questions firing in today, huh, Andy?
Oh, there is some good ones.
How many alerts does Holly provide throughout the day? It could be 2, it could be 20. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's all reaction, and it's all based in real time. We never know when or what. We just don't know. It's just sit back and treat it like a scan that's been configured by the machine, the AI, through tons of machine learning, back testing, probabilities, etc. All right, well, the last thing I wanted to do is I always enjoy kind of going through sectors, especially after we've broken down on the charts here. I can always seem to find at least 2 or 3 things to watch for tomorrow in terms of a sector group. So let's see if we find anything that looks interesting. We might not find much at all. There's a lot of messy things out there. I typically like to look for things that are consolidating and moving sideways, but we've had so much volatility back and forth. Most all of these sectors do kind of look alike. That's surprising. Yes, oil's having a tough time. There's the Dow, we saw that. Technology. Nothing is really, IBB looked interesting a few weeks ago, but it kind of bled back down lower. That one didn't do much. All these sectors really look the same with that one big red candle today, silver.
Yeah, it feels
A lot of
tired.
broken
It really
charts.
does. I was really surprised by the up gap today, that big.
Yeah, I'm just not seeing anything. The chart, basically, because the setups are just still broken. We need a little bit more data, a few more days to let the jump rope settle in again and find some opportunities. Somebody's asking me about CLSN. Well, boy, if you were holding it into today, I'd be a seller on the open tomorrow if you can get it. Typically a day and a half, 2 days is the most you can stretch out of these things before they start coming back to early market tomorrow. One more and we'll bring in Scott. If you're so interesting, I'll keep an eye on this one. This could be a couple days away from some sideways action, but the moment the price candle comes down and touches the 10 period, like I look for on the jam down, that could be the signal to maybe take a starter position on something like that. Not a bad looking chart, quite honestly. We'll see what happens. All right, okay, one more, then we'll bring in Scott. NKLA. Chart requests are always a pretty decent thing to end on. Notice that NKLA has ridden the 10 period moving average all the way up, got way ahead of itself here, had nowhere to go but back to reality. It's avoiding that 10 period for the moment, but it's certainly still intact. Again, I would say the same thing. You could probably even come in here and like set a sneaky alert right under 2 days ago low, create an alert and try and possibly time a 10 period moving average tag. I do that sometimes to stay aware of a chart that I don't want to lose track of. I'm not going to chase it here, but if it comes down and touches that 10 period moving out, 10-day moving average, I'm going to watch the price action over here on the 15-minute, and if it pops back up and stabilizes and starts to grind higher, that might be an entry. Yeah. All right. I'm officially done. Anything else you want to add, Andy, before I bring Scott in?
No, I'm ready, Steve.
All right. Come on in. Say hi, Mr. Scott.
Hi. So yeah, we've got this upgrade from standard to premium. So go ahead and write that down, use it before it expires, and we'll see you either as a new premium member or standard member. You can follow Steve Gomez on Twitter. He's at Today Trader. We've also got at Trade Ideas and some other handles. So go ahead and follow one or the other and check out the ones that we promote. Trade Ideas Pro is the Facebook handle that you can follow. And if you have any questions ever, just email info@trade-ideas.com. That's the best place to ask. It goes into our help desk software, so your question doesn't disappear and gets answered by the most appropriate team member. So we're going to publish this recording later on tonight or tomorrow on YouTube, and it'll be available for you by tomorrow when you receive an email from GoToWebinar with a link to the playlist where you can find it. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Andy. Have a good one.
Thanks all. Summertime is the code, Richard. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody. I'll see you Thursday.